It is time for another one.
Another one. It's time to go back.
That's the Indian lady. I wish I knew how to play the guitars. Anyways, welcome back, guys.
I don't think that's a guitar.
It was like a stringed instrument.
It is a string instrument, but I think it's a specific type of instrument.
It's not a guitar. It might be a guitar.
It might be a guitar, yes.
But whatever those are. Those are really
you
cool.
know what makes me mad about that? Now that we're gonna just sit there and start off with this. Are you telling me they couldn't have thought of a better name for that?
Guitar.
Or whoever named,
guitar.
not even they, like whoever named the guitar basically saw a guitar, noticed that this was slightly different, and we're like, you can't call it a guitar. So they're like, well, let's call it the guitar. Like, I believe there was an ability for a little bit more, showmanship. Maybe really thought about that a little bit
Well,
more.
that's capitalism for you. Or just like the mentality,
I bet.
That's why we have McDonald's away. Whoever's the
Well, the
first.
guitar's got to be old enough that it can't be like banking on capitalism.
What do you think? Let's see the origin of the guitar. I'm sure it was in America during capitalist times, like 1900. Well, no, there's no way.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I don't even, because I would imagine that because of where it's so popular, it's not even really originated from the United States. Like that'd be my uneducated guess on it.
The original shape of the guitar is the 14th and 15th centuries. A plucked string instrument that was first called a guitar appeared in Spain around the turn of the 15th century. The instrument was actually called a vihuela.
Love it.
And consisted of 4 double string. Okay. So 14th and 15th century, so that was like the 15th and 16th.
Okay, that's the guitar. How about the guitar?
Or no, it's the 14th and 15th century.
Okay.
Right?
But you were talking about the guitar.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the guitar?
Okay.
That's the one that matters because they stole the guitar probably
Was after the guitar? That was before?
I don't know. That's why we're looking it up. Elizabeth, it's me, Isaac. Look at me. Look at me. Ding, 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 ding. It's in my head.
They were wrong on what the guitar is actually called.
Isn't it spelled with like a K or a Q?
Yeah, well, it might be a Q. Maybe.
Do not ingest.
Just fucking talking on our ass per usual.
Well, I know there's something that sounds like that. A sitar. I think it's a sitar.
A sitar.
I think.
Okay, my gripe still stands. It's close enough.
It's been modified to digest.
Yeah, there we go. Sitar. So, 700 years ago.
Let's hope it works.
It is played by a striking and plectrum known as the mizrab on the main string. So that was invented in India around 700 years ago. So that was more than, or
After.
before
No, 13th, 14th century.
14th and 15th century.
So that's around the same time the guitar was made up.
It's destroyed everything.
700 years ago would be what? 1323, so the 13th century? So before, so the guitar came after
guitar. The guitar came before the guitar.
I've got some of that.
But it's not called the guitar, it's called the
sitar, sorry.
The sitar. So the sitar came first.
So a original discrepancy about like the name or
My same problem. Someone saw that and saw a similar one. Well, it's kind of close to the sitar, so we're just gonna call it the guitar. Like what the man?
Hope that guy feels our hatred for him in the light field,
Yeah, like,
the fifth dimension.
like our hatred just goes all the way back in the time. He's just kind of sitting there playing his guitar.
Yeah,
He's like, this is
sitar,
great,
yeah.
and he's just like this.
No guitar.
He's just like, oh my head.
Yeah, I know, right? Ow, fuck. All those times that you get like mini headaches, like for some reason, are just like a.
It's someone from the
Yeah,
future
future just-
getting real fucking mad at me. Man, someone in the future must really not like Nicole. She's always like, my head hurts. I was like, well, just be cooler, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
That's karma, dude. Those are mini discretions. That's the karma rules. Are if you do mini things that piss people off, then you get little headaches.
Like, well, maybe if you fixed your life up, people in the future would be so mad about you. We don't know what it
How are
is.
you saying?
We don't know what it is, but they're not liking you. Nicole's like, finds a new animal. This animal's called the cat with a K. Like, this fucking asshole.
Watch out, we gotta spray these at these doors, okay?
Yeah, like, it's... The whole funny part about that is, like, it's like an acidic spray. Like, what could that possibly be for?
Just plant monsters. They prepared a lot for the plant monster situation that would possibly take over the ship.
Even before the plant monster was an actual problem. They're like, oh, we got a feeling.
We have a hydroponics, like, wouldn't it be scary if plants, like, started to mutate on the space planet? But they should have prepared for some sort of religious sort of thing.
Man, if we spent more time trying to protect ourselves from religious zealots,
Yeah.
we might have been better suited.
Yeah, we don't have any religious zealots defense systems. It's all for plant monsters.
Alright, we're gonna put one more, get this maxed out until we get the next upgrade.
And we're good to go,
And then let's put it into the suit here. Ooh.
So there's no option or setting that you choose to have a specific run like this, right? You just do it.
I'm just doing it. Yeah, I'm telling myself that this is how we're gonna do it. And as long as I don't shoot any other weapon, which I haven't,
Level 3.
I should get some sort of achievement for this.
Clearance 3.
Oh gosh, dang it! If only I wasn't stuck at clearance 2.
I swear, to simplify, like I've already had this, like, we have to have a tier system in America. We already do.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, it needs to be an established thing.
Yeah, just more out in the open.
Yeah. And, like, not so, well, so the ceiling isn't infinite. Like, so it wouldn't matter how much money you actually made in the grand scheme of things, you would only be, like, a clearance 5 citizen. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there would be no disparity gap, like, that would just
So
be,
you're
like, an
looking to
infinite-
reintroduce classes.
I guess, yeah. Or, like, a capitalistic communism, kind of like a, or just like a more,
Yeah, capitalistic communism would not include class levels, for sure. Because that would go strictly against what communism is really kind of about. You know, the working class and bourgeois class, whatever however you say the word, I'm not really good at talking. So that would probably not be something like that.
I guess it would be kind of, I guess, classes, but I mean, but if the perks, if what was stated was gained for classes or like these like higher ranks, and it was like reasonable,
Well,
it would just be a much better society.
I think that what you're referring to though is when there was a aristocracy, what is the term that they used when they were like royals?
Oh, I think it's aristocratic.
Yeah, so I mean that's basically what that is, because there were obviously your kings and queens and stuff like that,
That
right?
was hyper. That was like,
But they had extra granted privileges over other people because they were at a higher class level, essentially.
and they didn't earn it; they were just born into it.
Exactly. Which
But
would,
this society would depending on what you're.
I mean, not
giving
to say that you
society-
couldn't earn into it, but like most of the time you
Oh,
were
yeah,
born
you
into
mean-
it, which is exactly like what we have. You know, we are basically born into a certain class, and that most of the time people born in the middle class stay in middle class because they have that advantage. Same thing with lower and higher classes. It'd be pretty comparable.
I guess what I'm saying, so technically you are saying that capitalism exists, but also classism still exists intrinsically throughout the fabric of the society.
Well, yeah,
we live
because there's no way for not no way, but like there are very much so people that look down on poorer class citizens, just as much as there are people who look despairingly on, you know, the richer class citizens. That's a very normal thing that we talk about, like eat the rich type bullshit.
Yeah.
Or, you know, those dirty poor people, you know, stuff like that. That's pretty normal. Well, not normal. I mean, it's kind of fucked up, but it's something that definitely exists in our society.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to propose is something that would seek to satisfy all parties reasonably, but also give the parties that feel like, because there's always going to be people. That's why communism really never worked, because there's always people that want more than other people. You know, to still have that system where people can achieve more, but it's not going to be game breaking. They're not breaking the system by being the top level, and plus, all the perks gained on having like a job that gives you this much of a clearance level with a, just without actually knowing what they could call it. It would be stated in legal document. It'd be public knowledge. It's like, oh, well, you're clearance 5. I know what that is. It's not like hidden behind accounts and secret money, secret power. Nobody has secret power anymore. Everything's, well, it probably would exist somehow, but
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like what you're saying doesn't all because in one sense you're like, oh well, that was the problem with communism because of everyone always wants more. That same issue would be plaguing this problem. That would also be a thing that you would have to kind of work around. Oh, you bastard!
well, yeah,
Like,
with
you would have-
communism,
you would have
want
people
more,
doing-
but you can't have more. But in this system, you would want more, and you can get it. You just have to work different.
That's.
different
I
job
would
and
say
earn it.
that maybe you're. I mean, it's. I would say maybe in like the communism, the classic sense of what it was originally established back when it was first kind of like thought up. But like, I always like to think that like the idea of what any sort of form of government is never static. It always changes. Like the idea of what communism was or capitalism was back when it was first kind of like thought up and like really implemented, I don't really think that you could kind of compare it to what we have today. I mean,
Like my mother.
the people that created the free market that we kind of work with today probably couldn't even imagine the style of government
Implications.
and implications of that being. Same thing with people who were kind of like, oh well, everyone will have equal footing in this, and this, and everyone will have the same thing regardless. That was unrealistic, and because of what how people can be, people took advantage. But like, there's no reason that's why like I don't really say like we would implement certain things from it, but it would be more of a hybrid of multiple different things because everything is so much different than it is now.
How about this adaptation?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
How about instead of like perks that haven't been identified really in my proposal, but
Of course.
How about instead, that's not a thing, and instead it is just public knowledge that certain jobs are within tier systems. Everything's the same. Capitalism's the same.
Yep.
But specific jobs fall under tier systems that have a stated possible range. And this really doesn't affect all the lower income things because that already follow rules basically, where you can only really get a certain amount, or this is how much your salary, average salary a teacher makes.
Right.
But then there's jobs that exist that are business people or have the potential of just making way more that's not measurable, or with things that don't have a range.
So I guess
but
I would
there'll
say
eventually
is-
be a cutoff.
I would just say that you don't really have like you're not really proposing anything different than what we have now.
Well, no, there isn't a cutoff where somebody can make as much money as they want.
I mean,
'Cause what I'm proposing is the
A
higher
cap.
things. There's a cap.
Yeah.
There's a range where yes, you're making the most money that one can make, but it's measurable, and we could easily assess. We could easily take into account the logistics of you existing in the society, and make it work, or it's measurable.
yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like that there should be some sort of a. Oh, hey, Rip, listen to the audio.
Therapeutic ambience on.
Just turn off the jungle ambience. Just like. I'd keep it on. That's fun.
I remember when you talked about that.
Yeah, it's like a. Hold on, I didn't go in here yet. I do believe that there should be some sort of a. Like, maybe not necessarily a limit, but like once you get to a certain point of money made, like there has to be like
Diminishing returns.
diminishing returns. Like you can't. There's something to be said. Like, okay, well, I guess when I'm on my like $10th million that I've made this year, what do you? You're just kind of making money to have money, and like at a certain point, you're just feeding into a system.
You're throwing off the system.
You're taking advantage of a system in some way, because
yeah.
not one single person does the work that actually says you deserve that much money. Do they deserve a lot of money for the work they do? Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm sure that they did a lot of work, and they probably deserve to have a very high paycheck. But think of what $10 million is in regards to money and how that would affect everyone in like the world. Like if I had $10 million, or shit, if I had like a tenth of that, I'd be really pumped up.
I had $1 million.
Like it's life changing. So like yeah, I don't really think that people should ever keep stockpiling that much money.
And on top of that, I mean, in order for these people to make the amount of money there are a few times they're able to just extort the system itself without extorting people.
Oh yeah, there's no way anyone
people.
making that much money that isn't
Somehow.
taking advantage of somebody in the system in some way. You're making money off of someone else's labor.
That you're pulling money away from possible other avenues the money could have been.
Yeah, you're taking advantage of the working class to have that money. Kind of like the same way that like people who own like apartment complexes, you know, that's why like a lot of people would argue that that's almost a little bit someone would consider that to be immoral, because like what are you doing besides just taking advantage of someone who needs a place to live? You're not actually doing any work. You own the property, sure, but you don't maintain the property, and that for the most part, you're just taking advantage over the fact that someone needs a place to live to make money. You're kind of like leeching off of these people.
They're not in a stable place in their life where they want to settle down into a house right now.
Well, you know, even if they want to, you know,
Sometimes housing market.
yeah, housing market can be bad, credit. There's tons of like outstanding factors that would stop someone from being able to buy a house.
Basically, simply put, we're a fan of, instead of everybody freaking out over the minimum wage being raised, we need to lower the bar.
Well, yeah, like there needs to be a control of how much things cost, because, and well, on top of that, the minimum wage should be higher. But I think it'd be more productive for everyone if just everything wasn't always just increasing in price, you know, slowly but surely. Like interest. They always say, oh, well, interest in a country goes up and down, and you know all these things change in the market. Well, that's not really true. It always goes up, and it never really goes back down.
Yeah.
It's always gone up. It's never stopped.
I remember now what I was this idea that I've always had, which is not an original idea, guys. I know. But yeah, it's all about actually just establishing a maximum wage. That's what I'm just trying to say. Because there's a minimum wage, why not there be a maximum wage? You know, and I feel like you having a maximum wage would just all alone just raise the minimum wage. Because now, yeah. Oh.
Toxic hazard clear.
What we're trying to say is we're really pissed off that they're raising the game prices to $70 now, and we're mad about it.
Yeah, there's a better way to do this, guys. It's not rocket science either. You know, people are just a little. Well, not a little. They're just fucking greedy. That's the only reason why it's like that. People want money more and
Could you
more.
imagine if they tried to the government to be like, hey, there's gonna be a maximum wage? People would have.
I think that the problem is that the media would spin it to be like, oh God, they're trying to stop you from making money when it's.
This is not the American dream, you know.
You know what I think is really funny? They prey off the hopes and dreams of people. Like everyone dreams and would love to make, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in a year, because then they wouldn't have to worry about like taking care of their family, and they have like this level of financial security that, you know, some people will never have, to not only be able to provide for a family but to flourish.
Well, just to be magical, like you're some Willy Wonka.
Yeah, like
person.
Like people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in a year, you know, or like even like $200,000 plus a year. Like that amount of money is insane. It's an insane concept for me. I don't even know what you do with it all. And so like when you say, oh well, we're trying to put a limit on, you know, the amount of money that people can make in a year from one single source, and say, oh well, we're gonna cap at 200,000. Everyone's gonna be like, their meters will be like, oh well, they're trying to stop you from reaching the American dream, when most of those people are never gonna can make that much money.
Yeah. Those people aren't going to make that much money in the first place. And if they're not, they have any wit about them, it would just make the American dream more achievable for more people.
Yeah, and
That's all it would do.
they probably would have already achieved it. Like, they're like, oh well, maybe one day I'll be a millionaire. I mean, fucking.
Might have hit the lottery once for a low bracket win. Once in your lifetime.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother thing. The fucking lottery is a fucking scam too.
It's supporting our schools. Alex.
Yeah, with the fact that we can raise that much money, they should just turn that into taxes. For fuck's sake. People would have to spend less, and then all of a sudden we could have that much money for schools. If that's really the goal, they could funnel that money into schools. They don't have to make people, you know, dream of the possibility that they could possibly do this and live a great life, and then just tax the fuck out of them. So that way, that's where the school funds come from.
Anyways, what we're trying to say is, again, this is my third wrap-up conclusion, is like, sometimes America be worse than Ishimura.
Yeah, I think your class system stuff is pretty just similar to what we have now.
Well, I took a long time to arrive to what my original point should have been, is the maximum wage.
Yeah, maximum wage. That's a for sure yes for us. I love it, Michael. I love it. We finally agree.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Keep going.
Tell me to calm down for.
Cameras. It looks like my
Because, dude, your boner is hard not to look at, and I'm questioning my sexuality. So.
Oh hey, what? I think that's an episode, man. It's
21.
Yeah, I mean, I got that good session sense. I can just feel it in my nuts.
All right, peoples.
My
well,
kegels start twitching.
I hope you just loved us, and we love you. Leave a like and all that.
I'm not gonna say that. This is you know.
It might be. We need to kill this before we shoot him in the butt. Big booty, big booty. Well. This guy is a crazy man.
This guy is on fire. He's shooting his legs.
This is a special move, guys. Don't think that. Well, he doesn't shoot his legs. He shoots his legs, you idiot.
Dude, I'm like killing it.
Yeah. Was that like a pipe you could have took off the wall?
I could have.
Anyways, guys, thank you, and have a good one.